Good evening, Girth Gang, and welcome to FIGANOMICS. Tonight, we are joined once again. We missed him last week, had some stuff he needed to do. We're joined by the Lord of the Figs. I mean, boy, we got a story to tell you. I mean, this guy got a haul and a half. We're talking about Fritz from Fritz's Bricks. I mean, you always do, Fritz, but this one's for the record books, I think.
Oh, it's 100% for the record books.
It's
crazy.
100%
for the record books, and I got a YouTube video coming out with it too soon. It'll be kind of crazy.
Make sure you guys are subbed to our friend Fritz. He's getting off the ground there on the tubes. It's good. It's good candy for the soul. The stuff he gets, it's insane. If you're not tuned in yet, dear Lord. Tonight we're gonna recap episode 4 of the Skeleton Crew. And we're going to talk about 2024's hidden gems. Maybe figs that didn't make lists, Fritz, but things we might want to pay more attention to. Wow, look at that timing right there. Okay, we have got the gang joining the chat here. Let's get into that. We'll just do a couple hellos to the gang here. Timmy, of course, has regained his first heavyweight championship. He was first again in the comments when we posted it, so shout out to Timmy. He lost the belt last week, I believe, to Sonya, but he has regained the title. Fritz, that's very important. Double Check says, can't wait to see what the next stop along the way back is. Talking about, of course, Skeleton Crew. Fritz, were you able to watch it just now?
I watched every single second of it. All
right, good. We're going to have a nice recap. Lightning Lord is in the building. Another Skelly Crew episode. He's excited for it. This is before the show. Evening Boys, looking forward to the get-together to discuss the crew and some figs. That's what we're here for. THF is here. Shreddy is here. Let's see who else is in the building. Amy is here with a yippee. Good to see you as always, Amy. Wacko1 made it in time there. Looking good. We got Charlie Bracebridge here. Good to see you. Camber Bricks, welcome. Is it me or Skeleton Crew becoming a Star Wars copy of the Fallout show? Yeah, we'll talk about some of that. We got Knickerbrickerbacher. The first 3 episodes were great. Kind of hinting, you can see the sentiment changing a little bit here, Fritz, as we're going through these comments here. Let's see. Jandern in the building. Whoops. The chat's moving pretty quick. I had a couple cinders come through my shop. Cool ship. Yes, definitely agree. The cinder... You know what's funny, Fritz? You saw that when they landed on at Akron or whatever. I have it written down, but you know,
at Akron.
Akron, that's right, Akron, like Ohio, right?
Yeah,
at Akron. When it landed, though, that looked just like the box art. Did you see how it was angled on there? I was like, ooh, box art shot, yeah, full display of the butt. I like that.
Honestly, I think they did good with the set. I just want to put that out there. I think like the set, not bad for like a somewhat play scaly and.
No, I think it's great.
Not bad.
I know you're probably going to wait to pounce till it's on a deeper disky, but maybe 100%. Across your hauls, maybe one's included in one of those, Fritz. Who knows?
I actually have only gotten one, and that's because I got it in a collection. I haven't bought it anywhere else because it came out, and I mean, I'm sure everyone's in the same boat. It came out, and we were all like, "What are we doing? What's this? What are we doing here?" We're like, let's take a second.
And outside of, I believe, the rando 1 in a million Walms, you've seen like a rando clearance, but as far as like a meaningful sale, there hasn't been one. And like obviously the strategy was, let's get the show out before we do a disky. I think that, and for the most part, Dark Falcon, again, outside of any crazy clearance happenings, one happened to a good friend of ours earlier, but outside of that, there hasn't been any sort of let's call it planned discounting on either one of those heavy boy sets, which, those are bigger dollars when they take those 20% off, obviously. Riley, he liked the episode. Django Tango's been loving it. Ball's Vengeance, let's go, boys. Marty Becker is in the building. Fritz is, of course, here. Cooper is here. Congrats to Cooper getting his Instagram off the ground. Drops a heater. Blacktron is back. I don't know if you saw that, Fritz. Blacktron will be back in 2025 with a full-ass ship. It's very exciting. Tyler, I don't know if I called him out here, but Tyler's in the building. Alien Budget is gone in this episode. Area 56 Bricks, good to see you. And let's see, T Fane becomes a channel member. Shout out to T Fane. T Fane, you know the deal. I hope you know the deal by now, but pick a super to honor you joining the gang officially. We appreciate you so much. Django's Tango with a 5-piece. Been loving the show, boys. Best part of my week. Would love GWP when feasible. You got it, dude. We're gonna hit GWP. Let me get through the intro here, and then whatever T Fane wants to hear as well. Let's see. And I think, let's see, we got Comic Boy in the building. Have you seen the rumor for the $1,000? Yes, we have. What a ride.
I think we all have.
By the way, I highly encourage, not right now, watch this show, please, but I highly encourage everybody to go back in time. I actually clipped out a $1,000 set. It was 10 months ago, Fritz. I said it was going to happen. We just, we were trying to figure out what it was. And I watched it back. I did a pretty good job, I think, with my predictions. I did say it was a Falcon, but I did mention Death Star was in play. And our dear friend Hive was like saying the Ghost. So the Ghost doesn't have enough.
It's not as iconic.
It's not as many people know it. But anyways, it's a fun video to watch now that we know what we know. It was a good like, I don't know. Hive and I love each other. We have to debate half the time, so it's kind of fun. Let's see.
Just want to put my 2 cents out there. I don't think Lego is going to be making very many Clone Wars era UCS sets, purely based off the fact that Lego, when they make these large UCS sets, one, it takes a lot of time and money, but they're doing it to apply to not just clone people or Clone Wars people. They're applying it to the entire trilogy, but the one that resonates the most with most people from older ages and new and younger ages too. So that's why they're never gonna make a fucking you're never gonna see any of the stuff from Ray's series, the prequels. You're not gonna see that. So
not on a UCS. I think. Yeah, what has the best shot ever is probably Kylo's shuttle, right? If anything,
maybe.
I'm not saying today. I'm not saying tomorrow, but like that's probably.
I mean, honestly, I think they'd have a better bet if they went to like.
They would never do it, but this would be a heater for sure. The black and orange Poe ship, dude. The Poe X-wing would be nasty.
That'd be cool.
But they should do. I mean, I could see them taking a risk on that. All right, let's get into the.
That could be a show topic right there. What UCS sets we want to see?
UCS sets from. Yeah, from the Sikhs. Yeah, let's see. But it's starting to heat up, boys. It's starting to heat up. It's already starting to happen. The other day, I forget who I was talking to. Oh, I was on the Discord. We do, live chats on the side there. If you're not in our Discord, you got to join. Hottest Discord in the game. And I was like, yeah, I want to start getting some of this stuff. Fritz, you know where this is going? And I'm like, the so-and-so is pretty reasonable. I'm going to grab one of those. I look it up. It's $40 higher than the last time I looked at it. The quad jumper, Fritz, is over 100 all day, every day now. I mean, this might be known to a lot of people, but like, I'm not looking every day at sequel sets. And we're looking at other stuff, and it's just like, it's inching up, dude. Not all of it, just some of it. But it's starting to inch up, and I'm just interested to see what's happening in that world. All right. So T Fane, new channel member, has requested Droidica, which I believe is Fritz's favorite song as well. So let's run Droidica. Thank you, T Fane.
Yeah. You can run even really fast. It won't matter when I roll up on your ass. I am metal. I've got my blasters. I'm a badass roly-poly robot disaster. Droidica, Trade Federation pinball. Droidica, I make all the Jedi pay. Yeah, I keep rolling, bitch.
There it is, Droidica. Little Night Night. Look at that, star of the show here.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey, I have a question for you.
Here's a question for you.
Does your dad have a lot of Lego?
Do I have a lot of Lego? Does Daddy have a lot of Lego?
Yeah.
Does he let you have
Yeah.
any?
Good night, baby. All right, go to mama.
There she is. I remember those days when my daughter would run in during the shows. Now she just sleeps through them.
No, she's a daddy's girl. She's 100% off for me.
Oh yeah, there you go. It's the way. It's the only way. It's the only way, sir.
Just wait, number 2 will be coming, and then it's gonna be. I'll be dual wielding.
Yeah. Yep. All right, we have got the second one. This next super is from Django's Tango.
Oh.
And he would like to hear this.
It's May the 4th. I want those Star Wars sets. I want more sets than Django has back. Oh, please put a GWP deep inside of me. Oh, please put a GWP.
Is your daughter gone yet?
Yeah, she's gone. Yeah.
Deep inside of me. You can't be screaming these things.
You play the butt one.
You know what? I play the butt. I play all of it for my kids. They don't really know what any of it means, and but butt is by far their favorite one now for sure, because they're kind of kids, man. Anything but poop jokes, comedy, they're in. They're all in. Let's see, Comic Boy. Speaking of G-dubs, I'm afraid the aftermarket prices of the Death Star one. Yeah. That's going to be super interesting, no doubt. There's a lot of predictions going on for that one. I think, Fritz, that $1,000 paywall, how many are they going to have? I almost think if you think the Death Star is out of reach, if you can figure out the way to get $1,000 together, at least temporarily. You know what I mean? That G-dub, dude, depending on what it is, which if I'm in Vegas and I have to bet, I'm going to say like Vader Saber, probably. It just makes sense. It's what they've been doing. But either way, and a lot of people are going to say like, well, only that, but it's like, it's behind $1,000 paywall. Do you know what I mean? Like that's going to be the most one right off the rip. And so hopefully you could if you are into selling those, and if you don't have the other ones, like, why do you need that one? Maybe you could flip that and get like, I'm just making it up. I don't know. When people are, when the market's peaking, you could get high 2s, 3s maybe for it and recoup some of that thou.
I mean, honestly, I think if you guys are trying to buy the Death Star, it's probably the best way to do it. Get one, spend the money. When it comes out, they're probably gonna have double VIP. They're probably gonna have a freaking what do you call it? A GWP as well, right? Now, if they do double VIP points, this one's $1,000. That means you're gonna get a good chunk of VIP points, but also use Rakuten and everything like that. You might be able to get it for like $100 off, maybe $200, depending on how you do it. You know what I mean? I'm probably gonna buy one and wait because it's gonna go on sale. It's gonna be around for a while too. It's gonna be such a big set, like the Falcon, right? The Falcon hasn't retired. They said they were gonna retire it this year, pushed it back. It's too iconic of a set. This Death Star, being how big it is, and being completely like Lego's like entire base market that they have now is completely different than when they came out with the first Death Stars. And all these people the kids that were kids back then that didn't get that, never got it. So you have to remember, now that these kids have money, like me. I'm 25 now. I've got money for it.
Camber with a heater take here. Multiple micro builds to attach with clear pieces to the outside to add to the display, kind of like they do with the Imperial cruisers. Falcon, ISD, some other small ships. That would be interesting. The only problem I have with it is it needs to come with figs or something, because I think people could see that, build it. And I know the boxed copy is going to be worth more, Fritz, but I think it's got to be something with some exclusivity with the pieces. So, all right, we'll get into that for sure. But I do want to deliver on a Skeleton Crew episode 4 recap. Yeah. So I took notes, Fritz. If you want me to just kind of go through and then you can jump in, at each kind of major occurrence here. Well, let's get your score overall, 1 to 10. What did you think of this one?
Honestly, this one's probably more like a 6 for me. It wasn't super entertaining. It just wasn't. And like
The Neil show? It was definitely the Neil show tonight.
it was the Neil show. I like the little Riz he was pulling up.
He
But,
was risen hard. And it was
trying
weird because
to.
I felt weird going like, man, she kind of wants to do stuff with him. And then went in for the smoocheroonie and she cheeked it, which is fine and it's appropriate. But it's like, where do you kiss Neil on the if she trunked him, would it cause something? I don't know what's going on. Like,
yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, I like that they have like, it's cool that they have the 4 kids in the show. It was just I find it ironic that they landed on one of the other Old Republic planets and it happened to be just filled with kids mainly.
Lake's got a great point. I hope this is the only Neil fest tonight. You got to have Neil in doses. I'm not saying he got exposed tonight, but that's got to be it. I agree.
Like, I feel like it was
they
like
over baby Yoda too. You know what I mean? It's tough not to play that card. They know they've got something with Neil, but they over baby Yoda, and that's gets problematic. You know what I mean? Kind of wants to do stuff with them. See, seemed rushed and forced. Yeah, it is a little weird.
Yeah,
they were like, you know, Neil's cruising along. They get to episode 4 and they go like, "You guys realize Neil's like the best part of the show, right? Use him." So it seems weird to complain. I don't know if it's a complaint. It's just it's an observation. We see what you're doing, Kathleen. We see it. We see what you're doing there, and I'm not mad at it yet. But you know, all right. So show opens. They're landing. They think they're home. That is until they get off that beautiful ship we talked about, the Onyx Cinder. Which I'm gonna do a Brent because Brent likes doing this. You know, when he has the set you're talking about, you gotta flex it a little bit, and they get off the ship and they quickly realize there was enough of the atmosphere, the terrain that made them think they were landing and SM-33 is navigating. So they had no reason not to think they were. And you're immediately greeted with sort of a war-torn, you know, dusty planet. There's a broken merry-go-round, all this stuff. And they quickly realize, now as the audience, Fritz, I don't know about you, but I was like, oh man, how long were they gone? Was there some kind of space-time continuum? Like, right? Like since they've been gone, there was a big blow up. But then I was like, no, because all the parents were there and this show is not that dark. Like my head was like ping-ponging. And then they quickly realize like, no, this isn't it. And I think it's SM-33 got the coordinates wrong and he didn't know at Aden, right?
At Akron is where, and I found it, you know, like, actually, I'll let you continue.
No, go.
Most of my points were on like the fact that I like the lore behind most of the show, like the fact that this is like a hidden planet from the rest of the galaxy. Because
turns out there's more.
Yeah, and that there's more, and that this one that they landed on has been, you know, obviously destroyed, probably ransacked by pirates and everything like that, looking for some kind of treasure. And if all the other ones are still, you know, if all the pillars had their coordinates on them, that means that more than likely all of these other ones are just as destroyed, if not.
Look like a Peridia set in there. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, a little bit. And like,
yeah, no, it's interesting because there's other places to be explored, and then of course everyone's question, which I hope gets answered, is like, there was enough of the infrastructure, the buildings, etc., that they were like, oh, that's where the school normally is. So I'm wondering, like, there are all these hidden planets. Maybe they were all laid out the same way. The community was built.
Right. And
we know the HOA was built the same way, but this one went sideways, and Aden still has the bunny hop lane thing going on. Then from there, now this was a little bit convenient. A little bit. Jod just stays back. What was the reason he stayed back?
I think he stayed back because like Byrne and him were going back and forth mouthing each other, and that's why she was like,
he's really just gonna back down and stay back. Can you guys, somebody recall, like, besides Fritz, if that's the reason, fine. Now obviously we saw what he did. He started ransacking stuff because he is a pirate himself, right? He immediately started going through bags and whatnot, but it was a little bit weird, like, you know, why wouldn't he go out with them. It was a little bit weird, but
protect the ship.
Well, also for the service of the story, you got to have kind of a story and a B plot going on at the same time. Then from there, they encounter some kid soldiers, which I'm like, okay, we're getting kiddie here, but all right, we'll ride with it. And they take them to their HQ. And of course, the Neil show starts in full force where they're like, are you soldiers? And he's like, we're kids, which was really funny. I thought Neil hit him with the we're kids. But what kind of vibes were you getting when they went to the headquarters of the
Walmart brand regime? Great Value Rebels.
Great Value Rebels. Wow.
Yeah, that's what it gave me. And the fact that this man walked around and used his stick as like Thor's hammer throughout it, I just thought was interesting. But like, I mean, I was
see. This is the answer. The kids just straight up told him to. Do you guys think that's enough? What do they have over him other than like he's gonna get a reward? Does he even know? Like, I don't know. That's a whole.
I mean, Fern's captain. Remember, Fern's captain.
Who cares, dude?
Hey, captain.
I know. Well, I mean, in your world, that matters. I understand, sir, and I believe in it. I really do. But this wasn't like a big earned captain situation. Someone just declares themselves captain. Anyway,
Great Value Rebels.
Great Value Rebels. All right.
Great Value Rebels. I mean, like.
So we're just kids. First of all, the guy, General Strix, who leads the whole regime, says that he's happy to see him actually because they turn their kids into soldiers, which it's like, what is that? All the parents dying off? What's happening? Which I understand this happens in some places, but they turn the kids into the soldiers. And real quick observation. General Strix kind of looks like a gray-haired Brickworld Mark. I don't know if anybody else was getting those vibes, but he kind of looks like Mark. I got to send that to Mark. I'm going to have him like cosplay as General Strix. Like anybody will remember him a few months from now. They start their training, Fritz. Now, you've been through boot camp. Do you start training immediately, farm to table like that? They didn't even do calisthenics. They didn't, get a physical. They just jumped right into boot.
I mean, let's see. I mean, it was pretty fast into boot camp. I mean, I had a rifle like the first week I was there. So
they got one in the first 30 seconds, Fritz. They're laying in a bunker, firing rounds, and then the weird thing happens.
No one was showing them anything, and these kids have no idea what the hell they're doing.
So Fern gets a few shots off, and Wim, they're getting some shots off in the bunker, whoever it was, and they run off. And then the daughter of Strix, Hannah, comes up and says, like, your friends are idiots, basically. And then you've got Neil just like carrying the rifle, not even shooting it himself, not even poorly, Fritz. He's done nothing. And she's like, they're idiots. And he just like, okay. She's like,
yeah,
you're better than that. Or, alludes to it, like, come with me. I want to show you something cool. So she was digging the trunk right off the rip, dude, because, I mean, he didn't earn any sort of senior level privileges at that point, right, Fritz?
Yeah. I mean, and then she took him on a little adventure to go see the big boy.
Yeah.
Big guns.
The big guns. So he gets a promotion like out of nowhere.
She has a blue man fetish.
And then, by the way, one of the funny things here is they're talking about Hannah is talking about how they have a really nice, genuine convo. I thought it was good character building, all that stuff. And he kind of says, like, why do you fight? I don't understand. I would just apologize and make better, which is a good lesson. If I'm showing my daughter watches this, that's good. It's good. Obviously, you don't want things to have to get to that, but they do. And she's like, yeah, you come from a weak clan. And then he like repeats it back to her. Yeah. And I'm like, there's a t-shirt, weak clan. Like, that's really funny. Like, if for an ironic kind of, I'm always thinking about merch. So I wouldn't be surprised if this show ever got really big. A weak clan shirt would be interesting. And then you could start seeing the Riz though coming out. You kind of saw like a little bit of a sparkle, which honestly I didn't think it would go that direction. I don't know if it's the height. I thought there was an age disparagement, and maybe it is nothing. But part of me was like, because what she's probably significantly older than Neil. I have no idea, but I was like, is Neil like pulling this off here? Like, what's what's happening? What were you thinking? Were you getting those vibes immediately or what?
I mean, like, I noticed Neil was like kind of like leaning into it a little bit more, especially when he sat down. I don't know if anyone else saw. He scooched a little bit.
Oh, he scooched it. No,
yeah, he
I didn't know.
Right. A little scooch, and
yeah.
I mean, shoot, like, I was like, all right, I see what he's trying to do. I don't know how it's gonna work. He's gonna have to stretch out a little bit.
I don't know if Neil's 100. I feel he's in the class with all those kids. He's just an alien. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think they're like, oh, he's still short.
I know Tyler enjoyed that. Hive lurking and working. Shout out to the Girth Gang. Hive, I mentioned you earlier. I was talking about our back and forth on what the first $1,000 set would be, and that was only 10 months ago, dude, and it already happened. So we were kind of ahead of the curve there with that topic. But good to see you, brother. Let's see. All right, we're not going to do any super gross comments here about this. They are kids, all right, but in a tender way. It feels like there was a little bit of a pickup game going on there.
I think they're just trying to spice it up and make Neil. I think they're trying to make Neil more of a standout character, other than the fact that he's a little elephant.
Yeah,
cool,
for sure.
Cute guy with big ears. I mean, it looks like Dumbo, like straight from the boat.
So there's a smoocheroo goes on. We talked about that. Oh no, that's later. Sorry. They go on a raid. They decide they're going to go on a raid, and they put the kids, Fritz, immediately. I don't know how protocol works. Do they put them immediately on the front lines?
God, no, they'd get cooked alive.
All right, so the kids are on the front line, and out of nowhere, they find Jod and 33 with the EOPs. Those, the cattle that means a lot to them. And I wrote in my notes, I bet he turns on him, or I bet he's leading the evil gang to these guys.
I thought that too. Yeah. I thought the same thing. I was like, he's coming through the smoke. Maybe I was thinking, the other clan is doing the exact same thing,
right,
with Jod and SM33 that they did with the kids with the Taruki clan or whatever, Turuk clan.
Turuk,
yeah. Then they're gonna meet in the middle of like, hey, I'm like, let's hide this way. These guys fight, and then that's over.
So turns out they weren't backed by anybody, and it turns out he did steal some credits, which what she called them, like sancties or something, or
Dataris, or
I forget, but what were the credit names that
I think it was Datari or something like that.
So he did end up finding credits, and he paid them off and bribed them.
Mm-hmm.
So again, so many questions. He goes from being held at gunpoint, pays them off, and then in addition to paying them off to not kill them, he gets their cattle back. And my question to you is, like, did he even know the kids were taken at that point, and where they went, and how do they know that he had the cattle and that they'd even want the cattle?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, they're like, do you think those guys were like, hey, give us enough and we'll give you cattle? And what are they doing with credits on that? I don't know. I try not to go too deep on it, but it's like, I guess everybody can use credits, but it seems like the cattle is much more valuable there, because by taking it, they're like starving them out, right? They could be starving out the enemy. They could
maybe
be taking away the hides.
Like,
yeah, it was like, what happened there? It doesn't add up, right? There's a lot of holes there. Like,
other side,
first of all, they could have just taken money. I understand taking a bribe to not kill you, but like usually when people extort, they're like, okay, got any more? But you don't give them like a GW. They gave them like EOP G dubs for no apparent reason.
I also think if the show was just a little bit longer, and I think that if the show was longer, they would be able to pack in a lot more plot, more character development, and more just like overall show, where it actually gives us like like, Jod getting approached by these guys, and then hey, you going back to the camp with them or whatever, or him negotiating and trying not to get killed with SM-33 or something like that, and then collectively coming together.
I'm going to go a different direction. I think this is one of those examples, and this happens in Mando a lot, some of the other shows, where unless this is super meaningful, I just wish they'd get back to making movies.
I agree. I'm tired of all these like short shows
going on. See, I mean, that part underdeveloped, I agree. But in total, I thought to myself as I was taking out the trash just prior to the show, I was like, you know what? Everybody keeps saying Goonies, and I hold Goonies in a very, very the highest regard, like top 5 for me. I'm not really seeing that. I think it's an easy, buzzy thing to say. I'm not really seeing that. But what I am seeing is like, but I was like, okay, fine. Let me take that for a second. I'll accept that for 1 second that it's Goonies. Goonies was a heater movie. Like, and so then I was like, well, why didn't they just pack this into a 2-piece, 2 hours, 2:10 if you need to, filter out the whatever, put this out in the summer or sometime, push it hard as it's for kids. Parents will take them because it's got at least has a smidge of Star Wars on it. So the dad will go, the mom will go, the whole fam will go to this. You got Elephant Kid. The merch would be off the meat rack. And obviously they've had so many flops that there'd be, you understand the difference, right? For it's like, there's 2 big things going on. Number one, Disney Plus is like the most important thing, even more than the parks to Disney. So like they gotta get subs to that. I understand it.
I mean, even with Disney Plus, I think at this point, like, let's take it back a step, right? What was the last movie that we saw in the theaters? The last
what? What last Star Wars?
Last actual Star Wars movie.
Skywalker, the last sequel, right?
Well, I'm talking like last one that was good. Was it Rogue One or was it Han Solo?
So embarrassingly, Han Solo is the only one I've never seen in theaters since I've been alive. So for me,
I'm pretty sure it was Rogue One, if I'm not mistaken.
What, the last good one?
The last good one in theaters,
Yeah. No, Rogue One was great. I'm just saying, like, I just realized that about myself. I was so pissed off about Last Jedi. What was the order there? Was it Jedi then Rogue One? I'm sorry. Yeah. Was it Last Jedi then Rogue One then Han? Or was it Rogue One then Last Jedi?
I don't know. I don't know.
I remember being so mad after Last Jedi. Okay, so it was Force Awakens, then Rogue One. Okay, Last Jedi, and then I want to say Solo was like very soon after that, and I was so pissed that I didn't even care. I was like, he doesn't look like Han. They fucked Luke. I'm out, and I was pissed. I was a new dad at that point, so you know how it is, Fritz. It's harder to get out too. So it was very easy.
So I think so. I think someone actually said what I was going to say. But I think Disney, after the failure of all the movies that they've had, and yes, Rogue One and Han Solo are now coming up in like the fact that people are realizing that, hey, these are not bad movies; these are really good.
Well, Rogue One's always been kind of celebrated,
right? And Han Solo's getting better.
Starting to get some love, yeah.
And I don't think the original three that Disney did are ever going to get any love, but I think Disney's afraid to make a movie, and that's afraid to make a movie and don't want to because Mandalorian was so successful, and I think they're trying to figure out what's going to work for them because of the fact. I mean, Ahsoka wasn't super successful, and Boba Fett wasn't super successful. They took a guy, Boba Fett. They took someone that was Boba Fett, who was supposed to be this badass character, and made him kind of soft in reality.
No,
also, like they changed him completely. You know what I mean?
So yeah, I get it. No, it's 2 things.
He was supposed to never take his helmet off. And
so it's 3 things. 3 things. Yeah. 1, need subs for Disney Plus. 2, most of the last few have bombed relative to Star Wars level scale. And 3, the spend on getting a movie out.
Yeah.
Even if they just took the same production value, I'm talking about marketing. Like when you look at this stuff a little bit closer, a lot of these blockbusters have like a $200 million spend on just marketing, right? And so
I'd like
they'd
to
have
see
to
what
like,
Tales of the Jedi did compared to the movies.
what's that?
I'd like to see what Tales of the Jedi did numbers wise. Remember the short films, Tales of the Jedi?
Garbage. What do you mean?
What do you mean? Garbage.
What
Why
do you
think
mean?
it did
No,
garbage?
no, it's a good show. No. Sorry. You're talking about numbers though? Like
I'd be curious to see the numbers of the last
they would have
Disney
bragged
movie.
about them if
Yeah.
they were like significant. I mean,
Yeah. But I'm just like
no, it was a
comparatively.
better. No, I mean that show. Sorry, when I say garbage, I enjoyed Tales of the Jedi.
I'm talking about
saying
it like in a
relative to hype and like revenue. No way.
well,
That
right,
thing
but
didn't
that's because they
drive
didn't put it in
subscriptions.
theaters either. They put it on Disney Plus.
Yeah. Well, that was designed. It's like little short stories. I mean, I suppose they could have cobbled that together into a movie, but you know.
I'm saying in retrospect, as in like.
You mean because it ended up being good?
Because it ended up being, I mean, great, amazing, and then I think they're, like I said before, I don't think we're gonna see too many more movies from Disney Star Wars because they're afraid to do it until they kick out Kathleen Kennedy, and we get freaking Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau.
Yeah.
Taking the head of everything. I think we're gonna see a shitload of more miniseries, and they're gonna be hit or miss. I think it's gonna be Acolyte, good one or decent one.
Yeah.
Another one that's we're like, oh, okay, time out, take another step back.
So I mean, this is another way to do it. Now, obviously, Mando is going to be a movie, and Star Trek's been mentioned. A couple others have. I mean, since the beginning of time, TV shows have worked their way up to a movie. Simpsons, South Park. I don't know why I'm on a comic book tangent, but like it can happen. And maybe it's like you get to cash in a couple times that way. So I don't know if they're like, I don't think they're sadly, I don't think they're that heady to like think in that direction. But I'm just like, you know what? If this was a nice, tight little 2-piece movie, 2 hours, could have been merched.
I think it would have been good as a 2-hour thing.
2 hours summer popcorn flick. Neil Merch just going crazy.
Neil Bucket for popcorn.
Neil Bucket. And again, but the thing is like even if this goes 5 seasons or something, and then they do a movie of it later, it's like where does it go? Like
I mean, when was the last time we had? I mean, okay, so Mandalorian, right? We've got a season 2 and 3. Ahsoka season 1, season 2 is happening, right?
Yep.
Boba season
Andor's
1,
next
2.
year.
Andor's this coming year.
Yep.
So for season 2. Are they gonna make this another? I don't see them making this a series. This is gonna be a mini series where there's probably 10 episodes or whatever. I don't know what they have confirmed, but
I
have
think
10
they
episodes.
did confirm a season 2. I'm not certain yet. The sentiment on this one's been good. All right.
Well, that means they're not gonna find Atten in this show or in this series.
They might. They might. We'll see. All right. So anyway, Jod gives this explanation, which again, he's still, actually I said all this stuff, but maybe they're just waiting to ransack him at the back of the ship. He might have said, hey, let me get these kids back. We'll go to Atten together. That could be a possibility, Jod. Because he did. There was one point like when he got a hug and he's like, of course, guys, of course I'd do that for you. You know what I mean? Which was a little bit disingenuous. So maybe there is more to come with this other clan, Fritz. We can't write it off. I mean, this could be a long game for them. All right. He's like, maybe we got to find the coordinates first, and then we'll all go back, whatever. So Jod talks about how he got the money to bribe him. Okay, we already did that. And at some point in between this and the next note I wrote, Neil asks Hannah to move in immediately. Like, he's like, you should come to my home planet with me just immediately. Like, very aggressive. Just like, you need to move in before you even got the smoocheroo. He's just like, girl, you got to move in. You got to move to Atten. She's like, nah, dog, I'm going to stay here.
I want to go to war.
But at some point, he broke through. She's done. She doesn't want to do it, but she goes. She kind of says she digs people being nice, and maybe she'll be that way when they win the war with the other clan and the things are nice. She goes, I would love to enjoy being nice. Is this the Neil Trunk motion for when Neil? Well,
I can't do this. I was like, oh, that's not right. I got to do it like this instead.
All right. So then they go on the Fallen Sanctum tour, which is again like an alternate reality building of something they have on Ad-Aden. And they find the coordinates for several of these sort of hidden planets. They start naming a bunch of other ats, and finally they're like, hey, we found Ad-Aden, but the coordinates have been rubbed off, destroyed. And 33 the whole time said there is no Ad-Aden. I've left that out. He said this like many, many times. I ain't never heard of an Ad-Aden. Never heard of it. And turns out 33 actually was there before with his former captain, and he destroyed the coordinates years ago. And then so they kind of just left it at that for the moment. Wim and Fern have a talk. Fern starts kind of breaking down a little bit, saying, I'm actually a terrible leader. You should have been the leader. I drove us into almost getting killed. I definitely got us captured, all this stuff.
I think that was a good moment for Fern because it broke us. It gave the character a little bit more depth and showed that she's really a kid, because she tries to perceive or push off that she's like, she's this big old, she's this leader or, older than the rest or whatever, but she's really just a kid like the others.
Neil was ready to propose, like straight up. All right. So Fern has an epiphany just after this conversation. Wim pumps her up a little bit too. He's like, you're kind of a heater, remember that. And something triggers her to remember SM33, which he said several times. It's like, well, whoever his current commander is, he takes their orders, and he's still got sort of leftover orders from before. And so she correctly commands him to remember Ad-Aden, which he does. But then that triggers a memory in the droid that the captain said, kill everybody in this room, or anybody who talks about it in this room. And he immediately goes into that mode of like, I got to kill everybody now.
Yeah. Limb from limb,
rip them. And so he was going to start ripping the kids in half. And by the way, every time as long as they're gentle with it and don't overplay it. I love when the rat pokes out of his eye. Like, I'm already trying to figure out the fig, Fritz. Are we going to get a buildy SM33? I mean, they're doing K2SO, so not likely anytime soon. But I love the little rat poking out of his eye. And if they could make a fig of that eventually, that'd be so sick.
I have a question for the people in you.
Yep.
Jod.
Yep.
First or second episode, we saw him as perform Jedi Force.
He's got some Force powers.
He's got something tucked away.
Right.
We haven't seen a lick of that. A lick since that second episode. Where in God's name is that? Where is that? He could have used it many a time.
Maybe we didn't see that scene. We didn't see. He could have said, "We're not the guys you're looking for, man." He could have done a little waiver.
I think we're missing a lot right now.
But he is such a shyster that he could be like a magician, because remember, he's only shown it like briefly, and it was dark rooms. He could have had what did he get? He got a key or something to get him out of there, Fritz. He could have just activated like a string or something. Do you know what I mean? We don't truly know. So we'll see. But he could just be Force sensitive, and then that's all of it. Could be a fallen Jedi who never completed the training. Who knows?
I mean, if anything, it's probably like a Jedi that escaped, or not escaped, but like a Jedi that was in training, like you said.
That's what he's saying. And then he pulled a Jedi mind trick on those raiders that had him at gunpoint and turned everything around. Yeah. He could be like Ezra. Exactly. So we'll see. I don't know how I feel about this Force Light guys that are coming around a lot. I guess it is interesting because it shows the dynamic. They're not full blownsies like Annie and Luke and everybody.
Well, remember, Disney is all about everyone has the Force. Everyone's born with it. you can do it all that shit.
Well, everyone has Force to a degree, but yes,
Right.
Disney is really leaning into like Force Light a lot.
Yeah, everyone's a winner. We're
Yep.
all,
Yep. Everybody's equal. You know that. So if everyone's a winner, then no one is. I mean, it's just a tale as old as time. All right. So he's about to rip the kids in half. Neil makes a save. He's pinning down Neil. Again, Neil episode. Neil. Jod turns off 33 from behind. They kind of, in a way, I wish they didn't do this. They're like, Neil fainted as he's pinned down. And I'm just kind of like, no, this is serial television. Don't tell us he fainted. Just have him knocked out. Just have Neil knocked out. And then we'll see what happened next week. They're like, he fainted. They're like, oh, okay, so he's alive. But like, I look, I know they're not going to kill him off, but right, Fritz, is a little weird just to give us that automatically.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're going to kill any of the kids off, no matter what. And I don't think they're going to kill Jod off. Maybe
nobody is dying in this except for unnamed. Yeah.
And like, what's the word for it? I genuinely think that these shows need a solid 30 minutes minimum. Like,
this was
I don't
30.
know if you noticed, it was 30. And how long were the end credits?
6. It was 36 minutes. The ep was like 30-ish, like the main part.
I feel like there's just so much. I want to really like the show, and I do like it a lot, but I just want more. I want something.
Could you get a heartstring SM33 sacrifice? Possibly.
Oh,
yeah.
I mean, like a K2SO sacrifice. That.
Yeah, it hurt. That was the only meaningful. Anyway, I have a theory about Rogue One. I really didn't. They didn't do enough character development. But
well, I mean, that's the point of it, in a sense, right?
Well, so it is. It is. That's like, sure. That's what the benefit of hindsight. Though. But like, at first, I was like, I didn't care about any of these people. So when they died, it didn't hurt as much. So I guess that's good because you don't want like you caring about everybody and they all die. But like, a couple of them, I would have liked to know more about them. That's it. So he faints. Fritz, 6 out of 10. I think I'm right there with you. My rankings in terms of order, I know a lot of people liked 2 better than 1, but I'm still 1, 2, 3, 4 is my order as far as best to worst. If you can recall, where are you at?
I mean, so far, this is probably the worst, I think.
Did you enjoy?
I enjoyed the first ones a lot. It made me pumped for it. I was like, all right, super excited.
They've fallen off every week, you feel like, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is still 10 times better than fucking Acolyte. I won't lie. I didn't like Acolyte from the beginning. So, next episode needs to be an 8 out of 10. Yeah, it does. I think the next episodes like need to be like
critical.
Yeah, they need to be.
If it's average,
draw more people in.
This is. Thank you, Lake, for reminding me. When I was going off on this thing earlier of saying like, I think the other reason Fritz for the let's make it a movie thing was exactly that. It's fallen off every episode. And I'm like, it's because they're filling time.
They're filling time, but I also feel like there's some slight rush to it almost. Like to getting back to Atten. Like they're like, this is, in my opinion,
I think we're setting ourselves up
adventure.
And as they said they were landing there, I was kind of like, okay, well, where's the, so it makes sense. But even if it was a movie, the first place they go to couldn't have been at Atten. So I understand it, right? You got to delay it a little bit. But this just, once it played out, I'm like, okay, will these guys figure into it later? It is a little bit important in the world building that now we know we've got 4 of these sort of clone planets that were sanctuaries or, hidden, whatever they were. So it did serve purpose, but it could have been part of a movie, I guess is what I'm saying. I don't know.
I want them to go in depth as to why these planets were created and like go over, like say they get back to their home planet and like they meet this all ever power, they see what the work is, and I think we're gonna get to that at some point, but like,
Yeah.
I want them to see like not the creator, but like, find out why these planets were made and why they're hidden, which we already know in a sense, but like,
Yep.
I just want more meat. I want more details, and I want to know what this could have been. I think this would be a great R-rated show and add some extra oomph into it. I don't know. I just really want an R-rated Disney Star Wars show.
Yeah, a couple of
do,
the gang has commented they'd like to see that. So,
like, can you imagine? Like, what if we did clones?
You talking like space tits or just more gruesome death? What do you?
Everything. There's no limitations. I think what they ought to do if they're gonna make
space
a movie
tits and do like a direct headshot. Yeah.
I mean, they could do so many things. I think if they're gonna do rated R, they have to do episode 3. Or not episode 3, but in the realm of phase 2 clones and all that and everything like
the
that.
Younglings, the movie.
Okay, maybe not that part. But Clone Wars, right there towards I would say middle to end. Give me some darkness, give me some gruesomeness. Paint me a really dark picture. Show me Star Wars, because Star Wars is all about like there's a lot of underground that we don't see.
Fritz, you weren't here last week, dude. You watched Andor, right?
Oh, all through and through.
Dude, Bix might be the all-time heater for me, like just behind Leia. Slade. Really? Dude, Bix. Dude. Who do you got?
No.
It should be a Figanomics. We're going to rank the top 5 heaters of Star Wars history. There's some Urso fans out there, but she's so boring.
Nah, Bix, I like Urso a lot.
Bix
I like Urso.
Heater.
Or you want to know who I want to know more information about? I want to know some information. I want to know
everything about Bix.
I want freaking Zori Bliss, which is a newer one, right? I want to hear some. I want to get some backstory on Zori Bliss.
Yeah,
a little different, right? Character you don't think
Zori
of.
Bliss is like such a WWE name, like coming down the aisle, Zori Bliss.
Padme would be a good one too.
Straight up Bix though. Good lord, I was like, who's this?
THF, the Rancor.
All right,
Kira's really good
Padme,
too.
Kira,
I mean,
Kira, dude, Kira's a heat. Yeah. I'm sorry, Tyler. I need a smidge of persona though. Jin is like, Jin. Woof.
Stud, you're not wrong about Jin.
Yeah, like, Jin to me is like plain. She's plain yogurt, Fritz. You know what I mean? Jin.
I highly recommend looking into like the Oh, here's one. Here's a show or movie. Hey, time out. Here's a fucking movie I want to see. I want to see Asajj Ventress and Quinlan Vos. Anyone read that book? Highly recommend it.
Like human versions?
Yeah, 100%. I think they could blow it out of the water.
Pretty hot. Rancor handler? Man, this could be an interesting show. All right.
Sabine.
Bo-Katan. No, they're out there.
Dark Disciple. CPA's got it. Yes, sir.
Like I wasn't, didn't know. I was just like, she's hot. All right.
Diggy.
So there it is. There's Skelly. I think everybody's takes are absolutely correct here. 5, 6 out of 10. Don't blame me if you went 3. And I'm happy as hell for you if it was a 7, 8 out of 10 for you. It's just not how I feel in this particular moment. If you say it's a 10, I got to question your sanity a little bit. But yeah, I mean, again, it's enough to keep watching. But Lake absolutely nailed it for the Mo to keep up for the momentum. Gonna need a heater episode next week. Faux show. It's Christmas week. People are home. Captive audience. Maybe you've got the uncle over who's a lapsed Star Wars fan, and you're like, "Hey, Unc, dude, there's new Star Wars." He's like, "Say what? I thought it died with Last Jedi." Then you show him the first 4. You got to like really get ready for episode 5. It's very important. Someone's gonna die. Riley is perfectly made. Again, it's second act. We're kind of still. You look at it like a movie, but yeah. All right. Fritz, let's get into the main. this is a fast show. We've only got a little bit of time left, guys. We do apologize. During Skelly, we're going to kind of do Skelly and a little bit of the Fig stuff. I hope that's all right, because I know all the boys want to watch the episodes, and we're kind of airing at the same time. But 2024 sleepers, Fritz, we lean heavy into Star Wars. I want to start with one. I think it'd be an interesting conversation. And these are figures that have been rated as mid, Fritz. We've called out the heaters. We've even called out the ones on a countdown episode previous of these are going to probably be the most valuable, the most sought after, the factually best looking figs, that kind of stuff. Or I guess it's not factually, but our takes. And we're going to start here on Duel on Peridia. And with some recent news, Fritz, I don't know if you know, but we're going to get a battle pack this year of one of these people.
Is it even a person?
I like where your head's at. But of course, we're talking about the Night Trooper. And I think this figure is a little, now that I've had the set for a while, I've finally opened it, built it. I think it's a little bit underrated. Now, obviously, I'm a Stormy head. It's well documented. Did they execute it as great as some of the custom folks have? No. But I love the start. And the question is, Fritz, do you think this long-term could go the way of a variant like some of the shore troopers have? Where if you look at like the TIE Striker, they just made one of that variant. And I think he was a commander, to be fair. But I guess the question is, like, if they make this one with this torso or this design, it could be interesting if in the battle pack they do a completely different design, or all three of them have different designs. What do you think?
I think Disney is going to do, or Lego's going to do one of two things. I think they're going to structure it similarly to how they did the 501st Specialists battle pack, where like you had the attachments, and maybe we'll see a Night Trooper without a helmet, and we'll get the helmet, but like the head is like all mangled and everything like that. But I don't see them making a new print, making anything crazy new about these troopers that are going to be in it. Now the Death Trooper, we might see something really cool. They might change it up a little bit, update the printing to look cooler instead of just taking the old, put in some red and some bands on it and all that. I'm not sure what they're going to do on that part, but like the other point of it is that fact that everyone remembers we got some Rebel Fleet Troopers recently, right? We just got some in the newest like battle pack, the 2-pack, right? The Imperial versus the Fleet Troopers. Well, we also got those same exact Fleet Troopers in the Tantive Hallway set.
Yeah.
Do you really think that they're going to take the time? I think the time where Lego was really wanting to like put some differences in like troopers and stuff like that is kind of long past this right now. Not for right now. I think they're in the phase of army building. They're in the phase of like wanting to pump out as much like of the same figure kind of thing. Because like after 2020 and the 501st Battle Pack came out, they were like, all right, people want an army build. And
Lock in. Good to see you, brother. It's been a while. Yeah.
I mean, that's the pure reason why like the 2025 First Battle Pack is the #1 sold set that's ever came out.
So Tiger says he has 3 so far. Excited to get like 20 and do a big duel, mock duel on Peridia. Yeah. So that's my thing. Like, Fritz, I think even if we just got like one different print, if we got 3 prints on the torsos, which I know we're not going to get, but there is precedent, right? When somebody's a commander or something, they put something on them, even like 501st battle packs, right? Or Shockies or whatever. They'll put like a slight variant. So they have the ability to do it. Why can I not put the ribbons or the tape that's holding them together? You know what I mean? Like swing it to the right leg, swing it to the left leg. Change up the thing. I get that there's a cost added to it, but if you made even just the torsos different times 3 figures, you're talking about like hundreds of variants. There's a real money-making opportunity here. If they did the helmet the torso, the legs, different on all three of them that come in this battle pack. Where I'm presuming, right? That's what's going to happen. Somebody math it real quick. What is that? 99 different combinations you could do? Like, do you know what I mean? And then if this one is different from those, dude, you got base plate festivals going on. What say you? They're going to cheap out? If anyone had an imagination, they could make a fucking fortune doing this. And by the way,
I think they're going to cheap out.
That's fine. By the way, there is precedent because you've seen it a million times, maybe not a million, but enough times where there's battle packs with 4 completely different dudes in it. So don't tell me that it's not possible to army build with some variants.
I don't even think it's the fact that it's not possible. I think that Lego's like trying to, I mean, you know, like Lego's trying to figure out what they're gonna do with their battle packs because right now we don't have that $20 battle pack, or that's that $15 battle pack anymore. And this is what's the price on this gonna be? $40, $30?
Yep.
Yeah, like
CPA nailed it. This could be the biggest thing ever. If they could have a randomizer, just have it purposely be sloppy.
I mean, I got to tell you right now, Lego's as much as I would love to see something like that CPA pop out of Lego, I mean they're
too locked in. But I love it. I don't think CPA thinks it's gonna happen. But dude, what if? But you guys see where I'm going with it. And obviously, and I don't know if it was Grandpa who did the heaters, Fritz, where they sold 3 they did exactly what I said. There was like 3 different ones where like the ribbon was on one leg. There were 3 different night troopers. They already did it as a custom. But man, the money making opportunity, if they just did all 3 of those elements different, your combinations, and then left this one different too. It would just take a smidge of imagination for them to do that. And they could unlock so many different combinations. It would be insane. And it would be accurate, God forbid, right? I'm sure if you studied the film,
yeah,
there's a couple that are the same, but for the most part, you're kind of like, oh, this one's got a bum leg. This one's got more problems with his arms. We didn't even get into arms. And it would, I don't know, it would help sell a bajillion of them for those who are army builders.
I mean, wouldn't it be crazy if we got actual cloth to go along with this?
Like cloth where the tape is?
Because that was cloth. Kind of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I would say. So like, you can find like Clone Army Customs does a lot of stuff with cloth, right? And cool little pieces like that where like, you know, like it sits on the hips and then it crosses across the body and then it crosses over here or whatever. Yeah. You know, that might be something that, which one I know for, okay, yeah, he just said it. I know I'm dreaming because Lego, I mean, back in the day, Lego used to contract out all their cloth work and capes. Only recently is that slowly turning into an in-house thing, by the way. So I don't think we're going to see that. I mean, that's why Lego prints a lot of their stuff now because they don't want to outsource it if they don't want to make it themselves. So that's why we get the leg printing of capes.
Yeah.
So I don't see them going all out on a lot of things. And like, you know how you were talking about the Star Destroyer that's coming out this year? Or not Star Destroyer, Super Death Star. I think that they're either going to give us no figs or they're going to give us very generic figures that we've seen very similar figures of multiple times over again. We're probably going to get a Vader. We'll probably get a
Luke. Give us no figs so that the bitching could run the narrative. If they did no figs, just to be clear, this has to be Death Star 2 style where there's no interior. You think it's just going to be a supercharged Death Star 2 then?
I mean, if you're thinking from a
I'm thinking this point of it, I call it the AT-AT treatment where they did the right thing where it was girthy, but you still could put dudes in there. And they did it with the sail bards. They're kind of on a streak on that right now.
I would love it if they did that.
I think they will. And by the way, I think
that might justify the $1,000 price tag. I don't know.
We've talked a lot about paneling. I think everyone would maybe forgive them, probably would, if one side was paneled off and the other side removable, to be clear, But I don't know that you need to do a full 360 paneling with ripoffs. You know, I'm not sure. That to me is the bigger question. But I have almost no doubt in my mind they're going to load her up with figs, and because they want it to do well.
If they wanted to do well, they're gonna put 32 figures in this. They're gonna match what some of those Ninjago sets get, and blow everything else out of the water. This is the first $1,000 set they came out with.
They got
right?
to, man.
They have to blow it out of the water.
They
If they
have
don't,
to.
if they don't, it literally just shows us that they're in it for the money. And
Well,
that's
they are
fucking
in
it.
it. I don't need any.
Yeah, they are in it for the money, but like
I don't need
they don't
any
care about
evidence.
what we want. You know what I mean? And like I mentioned it earlier in the chat. What if we did what if Lego took a poll? What if Lego took a poll from everyone that like, for Star Wars category, right? You get one vote of what you want. And they've got Clone Wars, episodes or something like that. They want Disney, Acolyte, and we could pick what set, or not set necessarily, but like, what if we could have some input on something?
Yeah.
I mean, think about Ryan. Ryan, even though Lego doesn't really care for too much of what Ryan says, they watch what he says and they watch what he does.
Oh,
100%
for sure.
through and through, even though they don't want to fucking talk about it. I mean, shit, literally. And maybe Lego doesn't like Ryan because he's so critical. It's a good thing we have people that
And
are
Jana
critical
brings
like
up a
that.
good point. So here's the pros of no figs. People will buy it.
Yep, no matter what.
Facts. Secondly, it's going to continue the earned media, the free media of everybody. So 1K, it's starting to get out there a little bit in the mainstream. But for the sort of Lego media, when they start saying like, and it doesn't have figs, there's going to be so many Hive rant streams and short videos, and everybody's gonna, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to be a stream; it could just be a opinion video, commentary video. Sorry, of everyone just going nuts, which is like, but they don't have to do that. There's going to be so much coverage on this thing. Like, they should just do the right thing here, which they've done the last few times. And I'm not sitting here saying
they'll kill it.
I love my friends that are saying it better have this and better have that. It's like, I'd love to say that kind of stuff. I'm just hoping they do it right.
I mean, crazy thing is that
we don't need to get to it's better for me. It better have, it's like, just do the right thing here. The right thing is AT-AT treatment, boatload of figs, at least what's in 2016. There's some people out there that are having sky high, give me 48. That's not happening. But give us 20 something figs. Give us 20 something figs. Got to give us like 3-4 heaters. Got to have 3-4 exclusives. Play the hits. You're good. Give us a rookie. I'd like to see something a little bit more than a different Imperial officer, Fritz. I think we're all thinking we're going to at least get one Imperial, but at the end of the day, they're all dudes in the same uni. I don't know what the answer is to that right here, right now. But go ahead.
I've got one thing I'd say on it, I think. I mean, like, they do the set dishonestly, right? They don't do it justice. No matter what, just like Jason said, the set's going to do well because they picked an iconic thing, the Death Star.
Yep.
They picked.
Everybody knows it, whether
everybody
you give a
knows
shit about it.
Whether
it's that, the Falcon and the X-Wing. Do you agree with that? Okay.
Mm-hmm. If even if you're not a Star Wars fan, guess what?
TIE
you
fighters
probably
in
fucking
there too.
know.
Those are the 4 things everybody knows.
I mean, and like, that's why no matter what, if they're going to put their money in any kind of pot to gamble on and invest in, they're going to do one of those sets to go all out in, because they know for a fact if they sell it for 3 or 4 years, they'll be fine no matter what, because people will continuously buy it. That's why the Falcon's still on shelves now, because people still buy it.
Yep. And I think it transcends. What I was saying before is I think this is one of those ones in the Discord conversation that even just major Star Wars fans that don't even mess with Lego like that will come out of the woodwork for this one, because they're like,
yes,
it's such a crazy piece that I have to get it. And
now they
for
need to
that
do
reason
it
alone,
really
they gotta
good.
come with it. This is the type of set that could get. I only fuck with Black Series, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say I'm that guy. I only fuck with Black Series. But if they cut, which they're not going to make a Black Series Death Star like to that scale of those figures. But if they're like, they're reading toy blogs and they're on toy Instagrams and stuff, it's going to get in front of their face, and there's going to be people tempted, and those tempted people are going to convert, and they're like, that's pretty sick. I don't mess with Lego, but that's pretty sick. I got to get that. And so, like, for that reason alone, you're not going to get not any. You're going to get a very small percentage of normies if it's just straight up a true blue repeat of the 2005 Deathy 2, which, again, great set, right? Has the laser, it's closed off. I just think if you're going to go 1K and you want it to actually matter and you want to get people hyped,
I think if they're going to do 1K, they have to do 1,000. They have to do 10,000 pieces.
Do the right thing.
They got to do 10,000 pieces too.
Floyd's like, we got to have mousies. They better have. See, I just said they better.
No mouse droid, you're out. We're done. Johnny Walker,
the
Blue
Johnny
Label.
Walker. Yeah, it really does. This potentially could bring even more boys to the yard if they do it right. And that is what I would view this as.
There's only one thing I would think of when it comes to this. So we're coming up on 1,000. Where this is going to be the first $1,000 set retail price. If this does well, it'll set a precedence that Lego can slowly continue to start to push the limit on Lego Star Wars, and then eventually not Star Wars. You know what I mean? That's something to consider.
Very few things they could do it with. It's surprise to me that even national monuments, Eiffel Towers, things that are just kind of like heaters in general for everybody. Botanicals is a major play for them. They would not try this with anything else.
Think about it. What if they did Pokemon and they did kind of like the Pokemon big figures that you see around sometimes? What if Lego got a contract with Pokemon? Now, granted, it would be kind of hard because they would have to fight Hasbro and everyone else. But right now, Lego is the #1 toy company in the world.
No, I think they're in the driver's seat for Pokemon eventually.
Mm-hmm.
They already have
made a buildable figure that size.
They already have with Nintendo hard.
That's true.
So I think when the Mega thing is done, it's possible. But to address what you're saying, Pokemon collectors love Pokemon cards. It's always been about the cards.
Right.
Star Wars has always been about the figs and the ships and the this and the that. Like, this lends itself, I think, better conversion wise. It's a smarter play. The fandom is trained, more apt to buy something like $1,000 Deathy in the Star Wars environment than do you know what I mean? Like, these people are going to be like, I could buy 6 cases of magenta and fuchsia, whatever the colors are that year, versus, they could be like, I buy 10 cases, or I could buy this 1K Charizard. Like, it's a different mindset.
I don't think they could probably do it with any other category.
I don't either, but you're saying it's going to give them the balls to. It's like, could I see Eiffel Tower, like that kind of stuff? I could see like I can see another freak show White House. Like, I don't even know what it would be, but I could,
like the reason why I even mentioned that is because the pure fact that we've gotten over the past 3 to 4 years, the prices have slowly gone up, right? And slowly gone up every time, right? Battle pack's non-existent. The $20, the $10, $15 battle pack is barely here. It's only here because the stores put it out for $15, so they won't sell it at 20. Things like that. I think, and like, there's lots of other sets too that are like that across the Lego category.
Yeah, they could do the bean.
I also want to toss out some crazy knowledge that I picked up this weekend from a good friend of mine. and Lego's kind of approaching it right now. Lego is at roughly 22,000 like and not entities but elements, right? Like
Mhm.
roughly 22,000 elements. The last time they were at 22,000 elements was in 2000. And in 2000, you know, if anyone remembers, Lego hit a brick wall. 2000, 2001. Lego hit a brick wall with a lot of their Lego, and they started substantially cracking down and making less and less elements and making things cheaper and cheaper because things weren't doing as well for them. Yeah, and they went under. They went under.
I think
CPA's
they're in a
rate.
better position now, but I do think they'll probably crack down.
Well, and like on top of that, like back then they sold all their Lego parks, right? Now, within the past couple of years, they bought not just the Lego parks, they bought all of the Merlin Corporation entirely. And on top of that, there's a lot of other things that Lego's been putting their hands into that I think that over time or over the next couple of years here, we might see a little uh yeah, and revenue now versus then too. Yeah.
Billions and billions.
Yeah.
I hear you. I think there's a lot of runway there for sure. Fritz got to grab something real quick.
Oh, I got it.
Do it.
All right. So, if anybody knows me, I recently just picked up a massive Lego collection. I haven't posted it yet on YouTube, but I'm going to give you as a sneak peek. I may have picked up a good chunk of awesome stuff. Some of you guys who are in here know me as a whatnot seller, but I'm more than that. I'm a big collector too, but I do love my exclusive figures. If you guys know me, I'm a big seller. Not a big seller. I'm a seller on whatnot. I'm going to be giving away one of these Shadow Arcs coming up. And if you guys want to pop in to the show, we're giving away, I think, on the 22nd, 3 days before Christmas. It's going to be a massive show. We're going to have this one, Chrome Vader, Gold C3PO, tons of other stuff. But we're also going to sell 5 all at once. Not all at once, but throughout the show. We're going to sell 5 Shadow Arcs in that show. So if you guys want a Shadow Arf, it might be a good chance for you guys to get your hands on them. The 22nd, there's gonna be 5 available, and that's probably all I'm gonna have. So this new haul I just picked up, I'll give you a little teaser for the YouTube video. I'm editing the video tonight. If you guys follow me on Instagram, I posted on my Instagram pictures of the lot. Right, we picked up for my personal collection. We're gonna I'll tell you what I got. I got Ewok Village. I got the Imperial Shuttle. I got the UCS Sandcrawler. I got a ton of battle packs and a ton of other stuff. Over 1,000 poly bags. Not just Star Wars. Everything. Everything. Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, Star Wars, I mean, City, exclusive stuff too. I even got a lot of employee stuff, a lot of Lego sets from Berlin, Denmark. So if you guys are interested in that stuff, also here's a crazy thing. I got 2 Ospreys too. Anybody remember the Osprey? Or maybe not, because guess what? That never released. Pretty cool. And I'm being in the military, it's special in a sense to me because I've actually flown in one. So yes, I got 2 Ospreys. I might keep one. I'm probably gonna keep one and then sell the other. Super rare, yeah. But yeah, you recently got your first Fritz Brick whatnot order. It rocks. Hey, that's awesome, bro. And we've got some big stuff cooking up for not only whatnot but Bricklink. Like over the next like 10 days, we are uploading 5,000 minifigures onto Bricklink. I've never done that much before on Bricklink, but it's gonna be a little intense. Along with a lot of sets. We're gonna start making some moves. I ship to Canada. Yeah, as long as the what do you call it? The shipping. Canada's going through a phase right now, guys. Whoa, blurry. Really blurry. Yeah. All right. Canada's going through a phase right now. Oh, the strike's over? Okay, well, if the strike's over, then yeah. Yeah, I am alive trying to find one of those. But yeah, if Canada's done with the strike, then yeah, by all means, like we're gonna be selling and we can ship it anywhere. Also on the 22nd, we're gonna be selling the first ever Girth Gang on Whatnot right there. The first ever one sold on Whatnot will be in that show. So if you guys missed your chance to pick one of these bad boys up, we're gonna be selling number 87. Number 87 will be the one sold on the 22nd. And I'm curious what it's going to do. I'm really interested to see where it's going to go. I really didn't want to sell one, but I also bought like 5 or 6. So I'm like, okay, I'll keep it. I got some for myself, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, uh, yeah, and whatnot. They haven't re-enabled shipping to Canada yet. I know that for a fact. My Bricklink store is the same name that I have here, Fritz Bricks. Here I can drop a little links key in the chat, and you guys can check it out. There's some stuff on there. We're constantly adding more. I'm about to go through and audit everything because there's so freaking much. Crisp Abe for this Fritz. Girth Gang Figs rock. Yes, they do, bro. They freaking are awesome. You can't beat it, literally. Here we go. But here's a question for all the boys up in the show right now. Is Lego, I've been talking about it a little bit, right? Is Lego getting too big for the britches? Do you think they're going to come back? Do you think there's going to be like a, not a letdown, but like, all right, hey, we're pushing too much. We're not going, it's not a headache. It's kind of a headache, for the audit. But do you think Lego's going to get shocked here in the next couple of years? We're like, all right, we've been pulling, we've been seeing how much we can get out of the Lego community and out of the, out of the world of how much we can actually price these sets at and sell them for and get money back for. Do you think Lego's getting too close to the point where they're like, okay, this is kind of getting up there, Like, do you think they're gonna get shocked by the public, by the people? Be like, all right, we can't do this no more. Yeah, I'm worried about that because like I love myself, I love Lego, but I'm afraid of that happening. Um, we'll see, we'll see. I think it's gonna be a little intense. Um, it could be really like if that did happen, maybe all these amazing sets that we want to see will start coming down in price, or they'll just keep rocking and rolling with it, going back into it. What I want to see Lego do in the next few years here is go back to being a community kind of thing, way more tied into the community. Listen to the community and listen to what people want, not just Star Wars, all across, right? They had asked at one point, hey, what faction do you want to see for Castle? People put in the chat, people voted on what they wanted. Then they never gave us anything. Okay, well, it's been a couple years now. Come on. And yet the battle bus is selling 300 on eBay before it retires. Yeah, there's that too. That sucks. They do, that's the crazy thing, right? They don't have a community connection. All they have is influencers. Now, I'm not saying influencers are bad. That's not what I'm saying at all. But all they have is influencers, and that's about it. Yeah, Bionicle won 90 years of play vote, and there's nothing. Crazy, right? CPI, I know you're a Bionicle fan too. I mean, I'm a big Castle fan. I was Castle before Star Wars, in Lego at least, right? That was some of my first sets were like some of the old Crown Castle figs. Fan demand for the 501st Battle Pack, the best-selling set, and they still don't listen to the fan. See right there, Maul, you just said it right there, right? 2020 501st Battle Pack came out finally after years of asking for some 501st troopers, and it was the #1 selling set in Lego history, and they haven't tried to recreate that at all, right? The hype, we haven't had the hype. We haven't done anything. They literally just made a carbon copy with the specialist troopers, and then you had the 332nd troopers, which is just a carbon copy of the specialist troopers, right? What's the next clone battle pack gonna be? Because like, yeah, we got the little one with the grunts. Cool. We all wanted grunts. What's it gonna be next? I'm interested. I want to know what they're gonna do. Maybe they won't do any more clone battle packs. They'll take a break, but they have to start doing things that people want. I feel like I want them to revisit Kashyyyk. There are peaks and valleys at times. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, something good. You're right, Cooper. You're right. I mean, shoot, like I want to see Lego go back to its roots. That's what I want to see. I want to see it drop its elements from 22,000 to back to in 2000 when Lego hit that rock, that wall. It was at 22,000 elements, and then they cut it to I think 8,000 pieces or 8,000 elements. That is over half. It was absolutely crazy, right? Yeah, give us the diner, man. We need some more bounty hunters. We do. We need more bounty hunters. We need some more aliens. Like if they really want to make Star Wars the #1 theme and do the best with it, they got to go all out. They got to go all out. What's up? Can't hear you.
Did you show the haul?
Not the haul. I'm not gonna show the whole haul. That's the YouTube video.
I know, but did you show some of it, or
yeah, I showed these. Yeah, I got 5 of them. I teased them a little bit. We're giving one away. We're giving one away on the 22nd, and then I'm selling 5 of them. I'm selling 5 all in one show. And on top of that show, I'll have a Gold C-3PO, Chrome Vader, Darth Revan, Yularen, a ton of other heat. I mean, it's going to be a little nuts. I might even
biggest
have
show of all time.
For me, possibly. It's going to be pretty up there. I don't know. I sold 5 Rebels of Ahsoka's once in a show, and they all went for $400 a piece. That was pretty crazy. And Ryan even popped in too. He co-hosted for a little bit. It was like a 10-hour show.
I remember that, yeah.
So, and like it's only been getting bigger and bigger, and like that's what I'm doing after this. I'm gonna go edit a video, or edit the video for it. I
Nice.
found out that CapCut is my best way to edit videos, and I can't do Premiere Pro.
Yeah.
Premiere Pro is way too advanced.
Yeah, no, CapCut's good. It's got a lot of cheats, that kind of stuff. So
Yeah. We talked about, what I want out of the Lego and the community, and what I want to see them go back to. And we talked about how I mentioned that in 2000 Lego also hit 22,000 elements. Right now we're just going over 22,000 elements. And then they hit a brick wall, and things weren't doing very good for them. So they got,
I think that's when I left. I think they're just in a different position now. They still probably should scale that back. But they're pumping out like record numbers of sets every year, so they kind of need those elements. I think where they're going to run into trouble is their retail partners.
Yeah, well, also
their MSRPs are just like, it's being proven that like they're just out to lunch, and as soon as they catch on that, it's like.
And on top of that, being somewhat in the Lego distribution space, I've had a lot of conversations with some people about how, from people out of Europe, specifically, about how Lego is cracking down on the amount people are allowed to buy, and then and everything like that. Like, because they're noticing that there's a lot of extra Lego illuminating around or hanging around. You know what I mean? Like the fact that you can find some crazy stuff in bulk just around, like, in Europe and stuff like that are still at distribution centers, just because Lego has been overproducing so much of it.
Yep.
So
my theory on most of this is, if they ever made the perfect figure, then you wouldn't buy the next one. If you made the perfect set, then you wouldn't buy the next one. And someone's got to be cognizant of that in Lego HQ. People are like, oh, well, they did the 501st and it worked and everybody was happy about it. I think it was Maul's Vengeance. And it's like, yeah, it blows my mind, fan to man. It, like, you got to do some of that and do it every once in a while. But if they gave everybody's like collective top 10 dream sets every year, it would die. It would die. They got to string it along. They got to give you a couple heaters a year and some fodder, and hope you bite on some of the fodder. It's just how you do it. It's a drip feeding system. I'm not saying I like it. It's just, it is what it is.
JB, just to answer your question, because it's retail partners, they pay 60 to 70% MSRP. So it's a little bit different. So Lego, the way it works in the wholesale phase of everything in like the USA specifically, excuse me, Toy House. Right, Toy House is the company that does all the distribution and wholesale for Lego in the USA mainly. So if you want to get it from Lego directly, that's going to be like an officially licensed like Lego reseller.
Unless you're Target or Walmart or anybody.
Yeah, Target, Walmart, Amazon, eBay.
They all go directly with Lego.
Meyer. They all go straight through Lego because they're so big. So they have different contracts, and they probably have different margins and everything like that. But along with that, they were also probably like, I mean, they also probably get, like negotiable deals, like little things like that. I mean, remember when the 75342 went on sale at Target for $25? I mean, they probably get a little bit of a bonus from Lego. Like, hey, we have like 100,000 of these sets. We need to sell them now because we want to retire this thing. And they're like, here, Target, take it, run.
Battle the 187.
Yeah.
I don't know if they sold them more only to do clearance on them.
I mean, I think they
That'd be a
realized
weird
they
move.
overproduced it, and they were like, oh, shoot. We got to figure out what we're going to do with these because we said we're going to retire them this year.
Squadron, what up, brother? Are you excited, Sean? Are you excited about the Superman trailer Thursday? Yeah. Superman's a GOAT superhero. We all know that. I want to see the Kohl's contract. How do they make money? Well,
we all do.
Here, in a nutshell,
I want to see the Costco contract. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's got to be wild. But in a nutshell, I know we tend to only remember the heater deals in all these places, but as a steady state, day after day, they're selling a lot of FPJ sets. All of these guys are. All of them are.
Especially that first month the set comes out too.
Even the shit we say that won't. X-Men 97, whatever. That might be an exception. I don't know that they've sold many of those actually, because that was like when it's like ridiculously, obviously way overpriced, that could be problematic. But for the most part, people are FPJing, and what they do is they're looking for a blended, and so the retailer is looking for a blended margin that they're happy with. And that's how it works. If they sell 100,000 Coruscant gunships at full rack, and then they sell 25,000 on sale, they blend that number and they're still good. If they sell 25,000 FPJ and 100,000 at 40% off, that's a problem. And like Fritz said, they want to briskly move through inventory, especially at end of life, because once that price is out there, it's got to be sort of hard to recover. People have long memories when they know it's possible for something to get down to that low of a deal. Like they're going to hold out. But that's but see, we're hardcores. We look at this stuff week by week. We're not grandma. We're not mom. We're not the kid who just got birthday money and doesn't give a shit. He doesn't want to wait for a deal. He's had his heart set on that gunship and he's going to buy it, So that is how they do it. It's all about ASP, average sales price. That is, and unit economics. You guys can look that up. I don't want to bore you with it. I do it every day. That is how the bread is buttered. It's not necessarily about, taking a whole lot of losses. Although I will say, and this is interesting too, Fritz. You could take losses on a quarter of their assortment and you're still fine because the heavies still move steady state units on a Wednesday, no promo day, do enough to offset the losses of the other ones.
I mean, that's exactly.
You have Halo products. That's the other thing people don't. This Death Star is going to be the perfect example of a Halo product. You never say you're a lapsed Lego fan. You haven't been in the game for the last 10 years. And you're like, wow, they have 1,000. I'm going to swing by the Lego store and just take a look at it. I'm definitely not buying it. And you go in and you see it and you're like, that's incredible. And you definitely don't buy it. You were right. You didn't buy it that day. But then you look off to the left and you see like, oh, I can get 4 Stormies for $30 or whatever. You know what I mean? Like they're like, well, I'm going to get something. And that is what a Halo product does. It brings everybody to the brand. You look at that and you go, it's too high. I'll never be able to do it. You buy all the other stuff till you start mathing out like, well, actually, I could swing this because now I've already spent $1,000 on all these other $100, $60 sets. Halo products are very, very, very important. Tesla did it somewhat recently, right? They had the 100. Fritz, you're an owner. They had $120,000 Model X. They had just everything going for them. And then when you find out that the everyday man can get the Model 3 for 40,000, you're like, oh, I can play in that space too. Cool. Even though it was that crazy 100,000 one that brought you to the game, you're gonna go like, oh, I can get involved in this. It's why all the luxury brands sell cologne and they sell glasses. I might not be able to get, a Gucci suit or whatever's. I'm the biggest fan. You get what I'm saying? I might not be able to afford the $2,000 Gucci piece, but I can get a pen with Gucci on it. I can afford the $30 for a Gucci pen. And that is kind of how it works. Now, a lot of people that have the means will buy the $2,000 Gucci sweater, but they also rely on the low end as well. So that's kind of how this works, especially when you position yourself at a premium price point. People just want a piece of it. Last thing I'll say, Fritz, Ferraris, Lamborghinis, all that stuff. When we were all kids, especially those of us growing up in the 80s, we all had them on our walls. We couldn't even imagine getting one. I would venture to say they made as much in toy cars, posters, T-shirts of people wearing a Ferrari shirt that are never going to get one, that just wanted to have a little taste than they did on the cars. And that's kind of how it works, man. Gucci flip for a Yavin 4 base.
A single blast.
There you go. But see, everybody can scrounge together the 170 for the flops. You know what I mean? Not everybody, but it's more realistic.
Yeah. It's like, okay, that's not, I can quantify that in how many hours I have to work to get that. But the Death Star is like, oh, I have to work 100 hours, something like that. It's like, oh shit, it's gonna kill me. I mean, the Marine Corps, I'd have to work a lot.
Little bit of a shorty tonight. Fritz has some very important biz in the morning. I have got some stuff I got to do.
I got surgery. Woo!
Well, I mean, yeah, just the full disclosure. Fritz has surgery. I've got
no shame.
Bunch of family stuff. We will be. Best of luck on that, Fritz. I know you'll do fine. I want texts. I want to make sure everything's good. We're gonna have a show Thursday. It is going to be the return of the holiday heater. Our goal, is to break the record for most people on the stream. Not necessarily at once. I want to cycle them in. But Fritz, I'd love you to swing by, just give a few minutes. We're going to kind of cycle people in, have surprise guests all night long. It's going to be very exciting. I don't have a count on last year's. I need to watch it back, but I want to break that record.
I would be curious what it was
every year. What's that?
I'd be curious what it was. Because I bet you it's easy to break.
Was it 20? I really need to watch it back, see how many different people showed up on the show. We got to break that record. And spoiler, we will be at some point dropping a link in the chat. So for those of you that aren't camera shy and want to pop in for a minute, you'll have your opportunity. We're going to let the Girth Gang come in, say a few words. So start thinking about your favorite Lego or ACOB moments of the year. Come in, say your piece, say hi to the boys, and we'll just kind of cycle through. I want to get as many people on here as possible. It's a big thank you show for everybody who's rocked with us all year long and for years now. Fritz, we're kind of getting old here.
I just turned 25. It was just my birthday.
Yeah, you were a tender 22 when we started this thing. So there you go.
Yeah.
Do you need StreamYard to join? No, brick by brick. 250 is the goal. Thanks, Tyler.
You could raid.
I don't know. Do you have? I heard something recently. You used to not have to have the app. You could just click the link on your iPhone and it'll take you to the browser and you can do it. But I did hear recently they're doing something. So I would say grab StreamYard if there is. Is there even an app?
Yeah, there's an app, I think.
Yes, Cooper. Thursday is a big show because the following one is Christmas.
I think you just clicked
the day after. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know yet.
Because now that I'm thinking about it, like Wappy didn't create an app, didn't download the app or didn't have to do anything, and he just clicked in on it. So yeah, I think it's for some App Store. I think it's just a click. Like
I kind of want to do it.
Once you get the link, you're good.
Yeah, I want to do it Thursday. I think, we're going to do it Thursday because the day after Christmas, we might take that one off. There's a lot going on. People are traveling, families in town, but we'll see. Anyone can come in on Thursday. Yeah, Maul. We're gonna post the link. We want people to come in and say hello. So there you go. Yeah, so there's an app. You don't need the app, but maybe it's better to have the app. You might have more features or something. But I did hear there's an app, so there you go. Anybody with the link can join in. We'll have more info on that. We'll post it. But yeah. Fritz, any closing thoughts, sir? Sorry we didn't uncover too many hidden gems. We went pretty hard into the Skelly.
Yeah, no, you're good. We went hard into the Skelly. We went hard in the paint, talking about Lego and history and all that fun stuff. I totally get it. I'm all for it. This is the part that I want to be a part of.
There you go.
I already talked about my big old show coming up on the 22nd. But yeah, take a look see at the channel. Maybe you might see a little sneak peek or the full video drop in the next day or so of the whole haul.
I mean, me and Fritz are boys. He's showed me.
I think I showed you like 2 pictures, 3 pictures.
You gave me a little more than
video,
that, but not like your full video is going to be. And I've heard you verbally describe it, but this is one for the ages. So, yeah. All right, boys. Thanks for rocking with us. We'll see you right here on Thursday night. Yeah, for the holiday heater. Peace.